Sony just broke the one promise PC players were counting on and replaced it with AI. Last year, the company told investors it planned to keep bringing first-party PlayStation games to other platforms, including PC. Suddenly, that promise is gone. Meanwhile, AI gets a larger role across development, graphics, recommendations, and payments. Put both reports side by side and the change is hard to miss. One version treats PC players like future customers. Another version treats them like a backup audience while software gets the empty chair. Less than 12 months passed between those messages. Quietly, Sony changed the plan inside an official filing and assumed most people would never compare the PDFs. Understand why this matters now. PlayStation is moving from expanding its audience to controlling its audience. Previously, growth meant selling more games to more people on more platforms. Today, growth looks like keeping major releases behind Sony hardware, pushing subscriptions, and using AI to lower production costs. Before anyone declares PC support completely dead, we need to be precise. Crucially, Sony never said every future PlayStation game will avoid PC forever. Neither did the company say AI directly caused the change. Earlier, PC had a named place in the first-party expansion strategy. This time that line disappeared. Elsewhere, the new report explains how AI may help studios work faster, improve visuals, recommend content, and process payments. Technically, those edits do not sit in the same sentence. Computer players lost a promise. Algorithms gained a promotion. Officially, Sony says these tools will support creators and remove boring work. Useful software can find bugs, speed up testing, assist animation, and catch problems earlier. However, companies do not spend heavily on productivity tools because they want everyone enjoying longer lunch breaks. Executives expect lower costs, shorter schedules, more output, or all three. Honestly, the worry is not that every developer gets fired tomorrow. Rather, Sony now has a financial reason to discover how much work can be completed with fewer people. Anyone watching the technology industry knows what happens when management becomes obsessed with efficiency. To be fair, this filing announces no AI layoffs. Pretending the pressure does not exist would be equally dishonest. Frequently, those tools become excuses for fewer hires, tighter deadlines, and bigger workloads. You might wonder why software in a corporate office should matter to your Steam library. It matters because Sony is no longer chasing computer players with the same enthusiasm. Instead, the company appears more interested in making games cheaper to build and harder to leave behind on PlayStation. Computers once represented growth through a wider audience. AI now promises growth through lower costs and more spending from customers already inside Sony's system. Pause there, because this is where people will get the story wrong. Major single-player games can stay tied to the console. Online projects can still reach PC whenever Sony needs a larger crowd. Horizon Zero Dawn opened a modern push, followed by God of War, Spider-Man, The Last of Us, and Ghost of Tsushima. Later, delayed PC versions brought in extra money after the main launch had passed. Unfortunately, late ports do not arrive with the energy of worldwide Day 1 releases. By then, people have watched reviews, seen spoilers, borrowed copies, found discounts, or moved towards something newer. Expecting a 3-year-old port to perform like a fresh launch is ridiculous. Management served reheated games at premium prices, then looked confused when the second crowd was smaller. Wait, it gets crazier. Recent reporting suggests this retreat is targeted, not random. Bloomberg reported that Sony was moving away from PC ports for major first-party single-player games. Hideaki Nishino later described a split between story-driven releases and online projects. According to that approach, narrative games should strengthen PlayStation hardware. Live service titles can reach PC because multiplayer projects need large communities. So Wolverine, God of War, Ghost of Yotai, and similar releases become reasons to buy a console. Multiplayer games keep broader access because empty servers destroy the business. Therefore, PC is apparently bad for the campaign but perfect for the battle pass. Conveniently, the platform becomes valuable again when a digital costume costs $10. Next, look at what this means in practice. Take Helldivers 2. That game became one of PlayStation's biggest recent successes on PC. Its computer audience-filled servers, spread clips, drove discussion, and helped turn a smaller series into a major hit. Nevertheless, its success proves PC players are not a weak side market with no value. Oddly, Sony's lesson was not that wider access could strengthen more of the PlayStation brand. Apparently, the lesson was that PC is excellent when a game needs bodies, spending, and long-term engagement. Story campaigns are different because they can sell hardware. Gamers on computers are useful when Sony needs population. Exclusive campaigns are useful when Sony needs another console customer. But this move is not happening in a vacuum. While Xbox is putting games almost everywhere, PlayStation is doubling down on the one thing Microsoft keeps weakening, the wall. Microsoft has moved several releases onto competing platforms. Far from opening more gates, Sony is making its strongest story games harder to reach without PlayStation hardware. If Xbox stops using exclusives as its main weapon, Sony can market its console as the machine that still owns unavailable experiences. Customers, meanwhile, see another expensive box required for software their current computer could probably run. Each Steam purchase earns money from one game. A new PlayStation customer can keep paying for years. Console owners may buy subscriptions, controllers, digital releases, downloadable content, accessories, and future games through Sony's store. Wolverine pulls customers into a building where Sony owns the shop, membership plan, and checkout counter. Hence, one missing PC sale may matter less than one person joining PlayStation for several years. Exclusivity is the hook. Ecosystem control is the catch. Current platform strategy no longer promises growth by reaching more platforms. Future growth is now being promised through tighter spending control and shorter production time. Basically, growth now means finding fewer new customers and squeezing more money from people already inside PlayStation. Symbolically, AI got the promotion that PC lost. Yesterday, expansion meant reaching more people. Tomorrow, it may mean building games faster, selling them inside one ecosystem, and keeping customers there longer. Artificial intelligence works perfectly in corporate reports because it can mean almost anything. Faster testing sounds useful. Better animation sounds modern. Smarter recommendations sound profitable. Improved payments sound efficient. Enhanced graphics sounds impressive. Nothing forces Sony to announce another studio, reveal a release date, or explain why projects take so long. Whenever production improves, executives can credit the technology. When nothing changes, they can say the rollout is early. Should customers hate the recommendations, the system simply needs more data. Forget the investor language for a second. What does this mean for you? Any PC owner with powerful hardware may need a PlayStation for one major Sony story. Immediately, that purchase pulls the customer toward PlayStation Plus, Sony's store, accessories, and future spending. Selling one Steam copy creates one sale. Capturing one console customer can create years of revenue. Worse, Sony's PC rollout was never especially clean, making this strategy questionable. Several ports arrived years after their original launches, some released with technical problems. Others appeared after the biggest marketing campaigns had ended. Account requirements created more anger. During the Helldivers 2 controversy, Sony tried forcing Steam players to link PlayStation Network accounts, then reversed the decision after a huge backlash. Regions without normal PSN access became part of the fight. Together, those choices made the computer strategy feel delayed, restricted, and half-hearted. Imagine opening a shop late, blocking several neighborhoods, stocking older products, and blaming customers when traffic stays weak. Fair testing would involve strong ports, clear rules, broad access, predictable timing, and serious launch marketing. Too often, PC owners receive delayed games with extra conditions and uncertain support. Naturally, those results cannot be compared fairly with proper day one launches. Leadership built a confusing experiment, received confusing numbers, and now seems disappointed with the platform. Maybe computer players did not reject Sony. Perhaps Sony never treated them like real launch customers. Players should also ask basic questions about the AI promise. Which tools are actually being used? Exactly what problem does each one solve? Do saved hours improve games, or only reduce staffing costs? Will developers control these systems, or will management demand more from smaller teams? Sadly, the filing answers nothing clearly. Vaguely, it promises creativity and productivity. Possibly, studios receive better testing tools and more time for important work. Equally, executives may use the same systems to squeeze teams harder. Both outcomes remain possible. Uncertainty is why blind celebration makes no sense. Finally, the title sounds dramatic, but facts matter more than the slogan. Reality is quite simple. Directly, Sony did not say AI caused the retreat from PC, nor did it confirm that every future PlayStation game will remain console-only forever. Historically, last year's report promised continued first-party expansion onto platforms such as PC. Currently, the new report removes that promise. Simultaneously, Sony gives AI a larger role across development, graphics, recommendations, and payments. Separate reporting points toward major single-player games staying on PlayStation, while online projects remain available more widely. Logically, Sony can defend the move as protecting its hardware. Likewise, useful AI tools could help developers create better games. Optically, however, the company removed a customer promise and filled the empty space with language about algorithms. Audiences asked where future games would be available. Predictably, Sony answered by narrowing access and talking about productivity. Ultimately, no public execution of PC support occurred. Silently, computer players were pushed out of the main strategy, while AI moved toward the center. Again, PlayStation wants them when multiplayer games need bodies, attention, and spending. Conversely, it wants story games locked to Sony hardware when those titles can sell consoles. Behind the polished language sits a simple plan. Keep valuable campaigns exclusive. Use PC where the audience helps, and let AI promise cheaper production. Commercially, that may be smart business. For customers, it means less choice, more control, and another corporate report pretending the trade is progress. Clearly, Sony has not completely killed every PC release. Actually, Sony has quietly removed PC from its growth promise, kept the platform useful for online games, and pushed major story titles back behind PlayStation hardware. At the same time, AI is being sold as the answer to faster production, lower costs, and more store spending. PC lost its seat. The algorithm got promoted. Does a Sony exclusive still have enough pull to make you buy another console in 2026? Or has the PC library become too good to leave behind? Tell me whether the console tax still works on you in the comments.